Welcome back, everyone. It's an absolutely gorgeous day out. For some reason, I've been inside for most of the day. I'm not sure why, and I regret it, but I'm out now, and it's beautiful out. Past couple days have been mid to high 90s. Is disgusting. There's no one out in the neighborhoods, like no kids running around, and our neighborhood has a good amount of kids. Um, just silence. No one's out, and now today everyone's out. It's beautiful. And it's one of those days makes you want to go on your deck and just be, have a really carefree day and not think about anything. You don't want to do any work. You don't want to think. You don't want to stress. You don't want to worry about anything. You just want to be carefree and live in the moment on those beautiful days like today. And I was thinking about that as I'm sitting out on my deck here, how on these beautiful days, I usually I don't have any even if I have a lot of worries, if I have a lot of things going on in my day or coming up in the future, everything fades away when I come out here. When it's a nice day out, all my worries just kind of fade away into the background. And I don't think about anything except the present moment, what's going on right now, appreciating everything in front of me. And it's something I was thinking about because for most of my life, from what I can remember, I've always been a pretty big worrier. I suffered from some pretty severe separation anxiety when I was younger. Um, like I would break down whenever uh, my mom would drop me off for school, and I would just be a wreck. I'd be a mess the whole day. And I was always, I guess that kind of went along with me, that trait as I got older. I was always kind of a worrier. I worried about things more than was normal for people my age. And I think it's gotten better since, but I've always been like that. And what I've been thinking of over the past few weeks is, well, thinking about days like these, the feeling I get when I'm not worrying on these beautiful days and everything fades. And I was thinking, why? Why does it all fade? Um, More importantly, how can I get that feeling all the time? How can we get that feeling all the time? Is there some kind of substitute or something that can solve those tendencies to worry all the time? Because it would grip me. It'd really take control of my life sometimes. Geez, I'd worry about every single little thing I'd worry about and blow everything out of proportion. It was a nasty habit. And I've developed this system that I usually do when I go to bed at night. When I have something that's worrying me, whether it's something that's happening right now to me in my life or something that's looming on the horizon, what I like to do is I'll sit up on my bed in the dark and go through this three-step system. First, what am I worrying about? Why am I worrying about it? What can I do instead of worrying to take action? What can I do to take action instead of worry about what might be happening? So I'll give you an example. I'm in college right now. A big concern for students is how they're going to do on their next big upcoming test, big exam, big final. That's that's a big chunk of student stress. I definitely relate to that. And if you're a student, you do too. And this system works with that situation, along with a lot of situations, a lot of worries we have. So, what am I worrying about? I'm worrying about a big test coming up. Why am I worrying? I'm worrying because there's a chance I can fail the test because I feel like I'm not prepared well enough for it. So, and if I fail, it'll have catastrophic consequences. So, okay, instead of worrying about that test come up and worrying about possibly failing it, what can I do to take action instead? And what I can do is to be prepared for the test. I can study instead of playing video games at night or staying up until 2, 3 in the morning browsing YouTube or Reddit or Instagram or any kind of social media and wasting time. Instead of doing that, I can study for the test, so I'm more prepared. And I can go in the next day and not have to worry about how well I'm going to do, because I know I'm going to do well, because I know roughly what's going to be on the test, and I'm prepared for it. You can use that for a lot of different situations. But of course, it has to be something that you have control over. People like to worry about the weather too. If you have big plans with your friends tomorrow, let's say, and you look on the forecasts and there's a good chance it's going to rain, like right in the middle of the day, right when you're supposed to have your big plans with your friends. Well, I mean, there's no point in worrying about the weather because it's something you don't have control over. So we can go through the system again. What am I worrying about? I'm worrying about it raining tomorrow. Why am I worrying? I'm worrying because if it rains, all these potential plans I had, all this potential fun I was going to have with my friends is going to be done. And 3, instead of worrying, what can I do to take action? So the weather is not something I have control over, but what I can do is plan around it. So instead of going mini golf, and you guys go bowling instead. So instead of worrying all day and not getting anything done, not executing any plans, and then inevitably not hanging out with your friends, you can take action. And you can plan to do something else. You can have your friends over, go bowling. What's another example? Let's say you're worrying about your current financial situation. You're worried about how you're starting to accrue some interest with your credit card. That's a sticky situation. What am I worried about? I'm worried about how my bills are starting to stack up, because along with all the purchases I'm making, I'm also having to pay for interest now because I can't keep up with the payments. Why am I worrying? Because these stacked up bills, more and more interest accruing every single month, can be catastrophic, and it's biting more out of my paychecks. And 3, what can I do to take action? Instead of worrying, what can I do to take action to change the situation? I can take a hard look at my spending habits. I can evaluate the way that evaluate how I've been spending lately, and see where I should decrease my spending in some areas of my life. Maybe cut out the things that you don't necessarily need. Focus for a few months on the things you only need to put on your credit card, and everything else you can live without. And you can live without your Xbox Live subscription for a few months, or you don't need to get that Starbucks coffee every single day because that racks up. And you can take action. And within a few months, you've been able to pay off that interest. And you can keep your statements under control. It's a meditative technique, but it's really helpful, and I would suggest you guys try it sometime. Instead of worrying, try to take action. Beautiful day out, and that was like the first thing that popped into my head, because I come out here and it's absolutely beautiful, and my worries seem to have vanished. And so I was thinking of, how can I recapture this moment? How can I carry it with me throughout my days? So there's your 3-step system. That's what I would call it, your 3-step system to not worrying. Define what you're worrying about, figure out why you're worrying about it, and develop a plan on how you'll take action so you won't need to worry, and you can forget about it, and you can actually sleep instead of keeping yourself up all night worrying. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope it helped. I'm going to continue to enjoy the rest of this beautiful day and not worry, and I hope you guys will utilize that system and maybe modify it to your own, however you want to modify it to suit your life. But I think it's a good system to stick by. And I think in time you'll start to realize how pointless worrying is, especially about things that you don't have control over. But more importantly, about the things you do have control over. Because instead of worrying, you can take action. Thanks for listening, guys. Hope it helped. Catch you in the next video.